Hello from Leader Dogs for the Blind, and welcome to our webinar where we will discuss the application process for free training at Leader Dogs for the Blind. My name is Leslie Hoskins. I'm a certified orientation and mobility specialist, as well as the outreach services and community engagement manager. This is the 5th webinar we have hosted to allow you to learn more about the programs and services we offer to empower people who are blind or visually impaired with lifelong skills for independent travel. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website within a week. For those people joining us via phone, if you have questions after the webinar, please call 888-777-5332 and ask to speak with a client services representative. Our client service representatives are available Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those joining us online, you may enter questions at any time using the chat bubble in the middle of the taskbar, usually found at the bottom of your screen, or use Control-T for a keyboard shortcut into the chat. Once you are into the chat, you will find that we posted a few more keyboard shortcuts to help navigate this. Our presentation is going to take about 15 minutes, followed by 15 minutes for questions and answers. If you have a lot of questions, we can stretch a little bit longer. I am going to go ahead and introduce today's presenters. First, we have Keith McGregor. Keith is a qualified guide dog mobility instructor, the manager of quality assurance for the training department, and the manager of the deaf-blind program. Our second presenter is Erica Erke. Erica is a certified orientation and mobility specialist and our manager of extended services. She oversees our orientation and mobility training and our summer experience camp. Erica is currently the co-chair and member of the ACB REP O&M Subject Matter Expert Committee and a past president of Michigan AER. She has presented at several international conferences on the topics of guide dog readiness, alternative models of O&M, and accessible GPS. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Keith.
Thank you, Leslie. First, I'm going to explain the different parts of the application, and there are 4 main parts. The first part is the application itself. The second part is the medical history and vision evaluation. The third is the consent release information, and the final is a video demonstrating independent travel skills. So I'm going to go back to the actual application and talk about that a little bit. We're looking for general information about who you are, your education, your employment, your health, where you live, what you do on a daily basis, and how active you are. If you've had orientation mobility training in the past, if so, when and where. If you've had a guide dog in the past, again, if so, when and where. And then references. So we asked for 6 different references, and we accept no less than 3. And that probably is the part of the process that holds us up the longest, is getting the references to return the information that we're asking for. The reason we ask for references is it helps tell us about who you are, about your character, and the use of your mobility aids and support network. And it helps the admissions committee when we consider placing a highly trained leader dog in your hands. The next part is the medical and vision evaluation. The medical history must be filled out by a physician. The vision evaluation has to be filled out by an eye care professional. And then the consent to release information. This is it allows us to contact people that are listed in your application to verify the information that you've given us. We respect your privacy and we keep the information confidential, and we don't share it outside the organization. The final part is the video demonstrating independent travel skills. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We have a checklist on our website, and it kind of goes through exactly what we're looking for from our video. And we also include that checklist when we send out a paper application to people who are applying to either get a guide dog or orientation mobility training. So the video should include your home to make sure that it might be a safe environment for a leader dog. We'd like to see a short video inside the home and outside the home. And then you walking in a familiar environment, and it helps us learn how fast you walk and some of the problem-solving skills that you have. We'd like to see you going up and down stairs. We'd like to see a street crossing, whether it's a traffic or a light-controlled crossing. Walking to your workplace and in your workplace, or your daily travel routines. And then we'd like to hear from you on the video about why you'd like to get a leader dog from us. So we are going to show a short video of someone applying to get a leader dog. And in this video, it shows a woman using a white cane walking down the sidewalk. As she approaches a corner, she makes a right turn and stops at the curb. The applicant is waiting at the curb to assess for parallel traffic. When the parallel traffic begins, then she crosses the street and she continues in a straight line. This video is mainly shot from in front of the applicant. And what we would like to see is from different angles, in front, on the side, from behind, at a distance of 20 to 30 feet, keeping social distance if possible, only in the emergency where you might not keep that social distance. So people that could take the video are family members or coworkers or friends. If you have trouble finding someone to do that video for you, then we would be able to put you in contact with your local Lions Club, and they would send a volunteer out that might be able to help you complete that video. Okay.
We have a client testimonial from one of our leader dog clients, Liz F., who is here to give leader dog Ellie. And she says, before going to leader dog, I was homebound and isolated. I was scared of the world around me. When I attended O&M training, I came home with more confidence and a positive outlook on life. My freedom and independence to navigate the unknown have no limits now.
So one option for submitting a video to meet the requirements would be to utilize Human Guide. So sometimes our graduates might be preparing for an application for their next leader dog and might not feel quite comfortable utilizing or showing their cane skills and think that they will can give us a better example of their skills utilizing Human Guide. If someone does this, we would like the guide to be quiet and not talk at all. Again, unless there is a situation and the person is in harm's way. We would like the applicant to verbally state where they're at and where they're going. And when crossing a street, we would like the applicant to verbally give the direction of when to cross so we can hear what's going on, just like a person would be communicating with a leader dog. And of course, this could be used as well for someone who is applying for the O&M program. So how do we utilize this video information? The video helps our team at Leader Dog by providing the following. It helps to provide the type of environment a person travels on in a regular basis so we can prepare them most for those situations. It helps us by showing familiarity of the places that the person travels on a regular basis. It also shows us that the pace of the person and their comfort in walking longer distance for a sustained amount of time. It shows the comfort of using a primary mobility aid, of whether that's a cane or a guide dog. And it also shows confidence in O&M skills or travel skills, or where the person is at with their skill level. Also, we're looking for any nuances in gait or posture that we might have to be mindful of when considering a match for a guide dog. So next, we're going to move into talking about the O&M training application process. The process for applying for orientation and mobility training at Leader Dog is virtually the same as applying for a guide dog at Leader Dog. There are sections of the application that are marked guide dog only, so those can be ignored. We still would like to know about O&M training or potentially guide dog experience, because sometimes it's a good idea for people to brush up on their O&M skills, even if they've been utilizing a guide dog for a long amount of time. We're still looking for references. The form that the O&M program utilizes still asks for 6. We just we ask for 6, hoping that we'll be able to be in touch with people quicker. We're looking for only a few so that we have enough information to make a decision on the application. We're still looking for that medical history and vision evaluation to be completed by the medical professionals associated with each of those, and a consent to release information so we can reach out to people if we have any questions. And then lastly, we're still looking for a video showing travel skills. So just as a reminder, if you are filming your video, don't attempt to do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. Maybe this is an opportunity that you use Human Guide to show us what you know so far. We've had lots of people come in for O&M training in the past that have never used a cane before. And remember, again, to utilize a community member, possibly a Lions Club member, and it is possible that potentially one of our field representatives may be able to assist with the video. So now we've got a quick video of someone who has applied for the O&M program that we're going to share with you. You'll notice that there's not background noise in these videos. That's for the purposes of our sharing. We do want to hear the background noise in your videos when you do apply. So I will be narrating this video. It shows a winter day with snow on the ground and clear roads. A man is walking along the shoulder of the road, and a woman is walking behind over his left shoulder. He is utilizing a cane, but you can tell he's a little uncomfortable with it. He reaches out for the woman's arm, and they begin Human Guide as they travel up the driveway. The man is still swinging his cane in front of him, and he occasionally swings it out to his right to contact the shoulder of the driveway. He's going to find some brick pavers on his right, and when he does so, he'll let go of the woman's arm. The woman is not intervening at all. She was just providing that assistance. He locates those brick pavers and continues to utilize his cane, protecting himself. He locates a bush on his left and continues to search on the left for a pathway that leads to his front door. He finds it and makes the turn, locates the door with his cane, and then reaches out with his hand to find the handle and walks in.
All right, we will now move on to questions and answers. Again, for those joining us by phone, please direct your questions to our Client Services Department at 888-777-5332. For those online, you can type questions into the chat bubble. So one of the questions that popped up during the presentation was, how can you show your home environment if you live at college 90% of the time? So Erica?
Well, if a college environment is where you're living the most of the time, then that's what we want to see. We want to see your primary place where you will be living. So show us that college environment, and if you happen to be at home on a vacation or a break, then show us that too. Explain in the video that college is your primary environment, but sometimes, or as a backup plan, you go home and you have routes there as well.
Keith, do I need to submit everything all at once for my application?
You do not. You can submit parts of the application, and the client service representatives will compile that information into the client's file. And then when we have everything, then that application goes to the admissions committee for approval.
Erica, how long is the application good for?
Your application is good for 2 years, provided there hasn't been any significant medical changes or so if there has been, we'll ask for that portion to be updated. And if location has moved, or if you have moved locations, we'll ask for an update of that, and probably a little bit of new video in that area as well.
Erica, is it okay if an applicant uses other mobility aids, such as the Victor Reader Trek or a Trekker Breeze during the video for route clarification?
It certainly is. We want to see all of those tools that you would use on a regular basis. In fact, we utilize the Victor Reader Trek in our guide dog training programs at this time.
Keith, here's one for you. What if you don't have a job now and you don't have any specific areas that you travel to except stores and such?
Well, that's a very good question. What we're looking for is viable exercise and walking routes for you and a guide dog. And so if you have routes around your home area that you would normally walk or exercise, then that would be acceptable, even if it's to the store. If these dogs are young and they need exercise, so you need to be physically capable of getting those dogs out and getting them worked, as opposed to walked.
Thank you. Erica, can my family doctor fill out my vision form?
If your family doctor is aware of your specific vision condition, acuities, field loss, etc., then that is perfectly fine. Or if your medical doctor consults with your eye doctor, then that would be acceptable as well.
So just to follow up with that, is it okay if I submit a different vision form other than the one that Leader Dog supplies?
Yes, we're looking just for documentation that you meet that legal blindness standard. And we'd like to know what the acuities, field loss, etc. is. But we fully understand that functionally your vision may be different. And that's part of the reason why we also want to see the video.
We have one here for Keith. How long is the guide dog training program?
So we have different programs at Leader Dogs. The main guide dog program is 3 weeks long. So most applicants come to Leader Dogs for the Blind in Michigan here, and they stay here for 3 weeks. We do have a flex program, and clients can, we can work with the clients to try to figure out the best model for them. But a flex program is where they might come in for a week, and we can start the training in-house here at Leader Dogs. And then the client would go home and we would support them in their home environment.
How long does the application process take? And is there a long waiting list?
So the application process really is dependent on a number of variables. So our client services team will process all of the portions of the application as quick as you get them to us. As soon as all of it is submitted and we're able to contact references and other folks that we need to be in touch with, then we are able to send the application to our admissions committee. Waiting list. As far as the guide dog training program goes, Keith, you want to?
Sure. If there aren't specific requests as far as the breed of dog and things like that, or time of year, then the application or the process could take a month. It might take 2 months at the most. Obviously, we're in a different environment now with COVID and everything that's happened with that. So you may see a little bit of a delay because we're not going to be servicing quite as many clients as we normally would.
And for the O&M program, the waiting list is, at this point, we're just trying to catch up on those people that unfortunately we had to cancel. So most people would be looking at probably a 3-month window before we would be bringing them in, depending on, again, the COVID situation and what our restrictions are at that time.
Okay. And Keith, if I see a mental health provider, does it mean I won't qualify for your program?
It does not mean you won't qualify, but we do need the information, and we probably would touch base with the mental health professional just to make sure that everything is going well and that you could come in for 3 weeks of training with the leader dog.
Erica, is it okay if I have other pets at home?
There are many of our clients that have other pets at home. Basically, what we're looking for is that you can care and have the ability to care for all of them.
And Keith, the next question is, do you need to do O&M training first before guide dog training?
Another great question, and the answer is you do not have to have orientation mobility training before you apply to get a guide dog. You do have to show independent travel skills. So in the video, we ask that you're not prompted by whoever's taking the video or other family members that might be following along with you. You have to show those independent skills, and if someone has those skills, then they could still apply for a guide dog. We do prefer that they have professional orientation mobility training ahead of time.
Erica, what is the easiest way of sending in a video? Often video files are very large to mail.
We're really looking for an unlisted YouTube video link or a Dropbox link. That's the quickest way of sharing that with us. And that preference is listed on the checklist that Keith described earlier as well.
Keith, if I request a home delivery and I'm denied for that model, can I still be considered to come to class or flex?
Well, okay, I didn't really talk about home deliveries at all yet, so I'll explain a little bit about that first. A home delivery is someone that is not able to come to Leader Dogs and train in our facility here. For some reason or another, they might be taking care of a sick family member, things like that, and they still would like to get a guide dog from us. If we determine that we need the person to come here on property for training, then there is a possibility that we would consider flex training as well. So that, again, they might only have to come here for 1 week, and then we would follow up with them at home for a week. Generally, in-home training, so home delivery trainings, only last 7 to 10 days. So that's a very short period of time. If someone's had a guide dog in the past, they have experience, then that's a little bit easier to manage because the learning goes a little bit quicker.
Erica, do I have to have a fenced-in yard in order to apply for a guide dog?
No, you don't have to have a fenced-in yard. That's part of the discussion of training will be, what if I don't have a fenced-in yard, and other ways that you can play with your young leader dog.
So I have a question, excuse me. Keith, do you require videos showing independent travel in small business and urban environments?
Yes, we do. So I'll have to rephrase that a little bit. If you live in that environment, then that's where we want the video taken. If you don't live in that environment, then you don't have to go to those environments and take the video. As Erica mentioned before, we want you to travel in an area that you're familiar with and that is safe for you. So if you live out in a rural area where there are no sidewalks, that's where we want you to do the video. We would still like to see a street crossing if possible, whether it's a four-way stop or a lighted intersection. We'd still like to see that.
All right, Erica. If someone is on disability or a fixed income, is that a concern? Or what if they cannot afford a dog? What options does somebody have?
So a guide dog is just one form of mobility. A cane is always another option and is more cost effective than a guide dog. A guide dog on average, the annual cost is about $1,000 for a healthy dog. That would include the annual vet visit, food, and just general maintenance. As a dog ages, the cost does sometimes increase because more medical attention may need to be given. And it is something that someone should consider in determining if a leader dog is right for them.
I do know, like, sometimes you can reach around or reach out and talk to several different vets to see if you can get a discount for your service dog. So there are some other options too that we can talk through if that's a financial issue or something you're concerned about.
So Keith, when someone is here for training for 3 weeks, what do they do on the weekends?
Well, we train with the clients and the dogs Monday through Saturday. Sunday is the one day that they can either rest or get their laundry done or go to church, or they can go out to a store or a restaurant, but they have to leave the dog here because they haven't graduated the program yet. But it's a very intense program Monday through Saturday. We're walking several times a day, each day, and so we're pretty worn out by the weekend.
All right, we have a question. If an applicant makes their video at college, can leader dogs still train the client in a rural travel environment, even if their home environment isn't shown?
So for both programs, guide dog training and O&M training, we do provide training in lots of different environments because we know that that may change for people. We want them to have familiarity with all environments, and then we can spend more time in environments where they're traveling on a regular basis at this point.
And knowing the main environment that someone lives in helps us match a guide dog to their needs. We have dogs that are very strong in the big city environment, and we have other dogs that are better in the rural environment. So we want to try to match the client with the dog as best we can.
And this will be our last question, and I'm gonna pass this to Keith, and it's a two-part question. What is the visual criteria you need to meet in order to get a leader dog? And what is the cost of coming to get a leader dog?
Well, so the visual acuity is legal blindness, which is
20 over 200
maybe,
or 20
200.
degrees of field
Thank you.
loss or less.
And the cost of coming here to Leader Dogs to get a dog is, everything is free. So we cover the travel expenses coming from your home to Leader Dogs. We cover the cost of the dog, the equipment, the food and board while you're here. Once you leave Leader Dogs, then the responsibility of paying for dog care and the food and things like that are up to the client.
All right, we'll have to stop here for today. Thank you everyone for your knowledge and sharing it with us. If you would like to learn more about our programs and services, please visit our website at leaderdog.org. Call us at 888-777-5332 or email us at clientservices@leaderdog.org. If there are any blind rehab professionals with questions, they can contact myself, Leslie Hoskins, at leslie.hoskins@leaderdog.org. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll leave you with one final reminder that Leader Dog services are free to all clients. We hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.